Hi, Mr. Loader here. I wanted to talk to you about the learning for Thursday, the 14th of January. It's an English lesson, and our role is to plan our own story based on a familiar story. And that story, of course, will be Jim and the Beanstalk. That's what we've been looking at this week. Now, what you might want to do is start off by again listening to the story. There's the link for it on YouTube. Okay. And then after you've done that, so if you want to pause the video and listen to it again, I want you to start off with an activity. Now, the learning activity sheet, which you'll find in the downloads, there is a section at the top which says model text, which is Jim and the Beanstalk. That's what we've been looking at. And what I want you to do is just plot the story. So what happens in the beginning? And I've given a few just key points for you to think about. So maybe who are the characters? What happens at the start? Where does he end up? When I say where does he end up, I mean Jim. Where does Jim end up? Okay, so we're going to be thinking about like Jim, aren't we? The giant. You might even think of some other characters like the mum, the oculist. He's wakes up, doesn't he? And he sees a beanstalk outside his window. He climbs up the beanstalk. So that's what we're looking for. Then in the middle, who does he meet? What does he get for the giant? Okay, and then of course we've got the ending. How does the story end? Okay, and I think there's a note on the sheet there as well. If we just scroll down. Okay, so ending. How does the story end? And you might think about how Jim reacts at the end of the story. Okay, so you might want to pause your video there and then complete that part of the activity. Now, before we start looking through the rest of the PowerPoint, I just want to show you. So you've just plotted out the model text and what happens within the story. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be planning your own version of the story. So we're going to be changing certain parts. We're going to keep most of the structure the same, but we're going to be changing parts. So if I just move on to the next slide. So you might want to discuss this with a partner or someone in your household. What things could we change within the story? Okay, so you might want to pause it and have time to chat to someone. Right, here are the things that you might change. So the characters. So instead of having a boy, obviously we could have a girl, couldn't we? For example, or I guess you could change to an animal. Instead of a giant, we could have a completely different character, couldn't we? We could have a troll. The setting could change. So obviously it starts off in a house, and then he climbs a beanstalk and he gets to a castle. Maybe he doesn't go to a castle. Okay, he goes somewhere else. The beanstalk. So if you think about a lot of the traditional tales, I know we're looking at picture books, but they take a journey, don't they? So his journey was up a beanstalk, but a lot of the journeys are maybe through a forest or through a wood, so you could change how he gets, or the main character gets there. The things the giant is given. Okay, so of course in the story the giant's given glasses, false teeth, and a wig. So we could think about what other things we could give instead, and that's what I really want to focus on. Okay, we could also change what Jim is given, so as a reward for all the hard work he does. So I know I just mentioned this, but we're going to keep most of the structure the same. Jim will still help the giant. Okay, we're going to change the thing he gets for the giant. So have a think, pause the video. What different things could he get for the giant? Okay, here's some ideas that I came up with. Now, just if I go back, of course, he got these things for the giant because the giant was getting old. And when we get old, sometimes things start to fail, don't they? Like our eyesight, our teeth might not be as good, and we have to have false teeth. They may fall out. And we might have to have a wig as well because we've got no hair. That's a personal choice, isn't it? So he got those things to help the giant because he'd got old. So when we think about all these things, these items that I've suggested, or going to suggest, think about why he might want them or need them, the giant. So I thought about maybe some things that we might need when we get older. and then a few other mixed in things. So a walking stick. So behind my face, it says, why might he need a walking stick? Okay, so think about that. Maybe you might select a walking stick as an object. If we just pick 3 to replace the 3 that we had in the story. A hearing aid. So again, why might he need a hearing aid? Okay, so I guess it's similar reasons in a way, isn't it? To glasses, our sight goes, our hearing goes when we get older. I thought anti-aging cream. So people like to look after their skin, don't they, as they're getting older? Okay, to try and keep looking young. Okay, I'm the same. An iPhone. Now I know any age could have this, but I thought this one might interest some children, some of you. I thought maybe he's struggling to keep in contact with someone. Okay, maybe his wife has gone somewhere and he wants to keep in contact with them, and that's why he wants Jim's help. And Jim suggests a mobile phone, the latest iPhone, so he can FaceTime his wife. A heated blanket. Okay, some people like a heated blanket to keep them warm when they're in bed or when they're on the sofa. So that might be a nice one. A tablet, again, I guess it's similar reasons to an iPhone. Maybe to keep in contact with someone, or maybe they've got grandchildren they want to keep in contact with. Okay. So what I want you to do then is complete your plan. Okay, I'll just show it to you again. So you're thinking about your own version of the story. Remember, we're keeping the main characters are the same, and the fact he climbs up a beanstalk. But what we are going to do is change the things that he gets for the giant. Okay, and then we'll keep the ending the same. Okay. So once you've finished your plan, you might want to share it with a partner or an adult, and explain to them what is going to happen in your story.